And welcome back to Delaware Boys Science Football Podcast. Ryan, say what's up to the people.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. Continuing on with our Dynasty rankings today, we're hitting on quarterbacks. We're on limited time today, so we might be a little rushing through this a little bit more. Steven has a early double tomorrow. Don't want to make him suffer with lack of sleep, so we're here to knock shit out, get through these quarterbacks, and get out.
Also, if you are going to tune in tonight, I hope your start sit, our segment went well, led you to a dub. Hopefully, you're on the bye week this week and you're ready for the fantasy playoffs.
If not, good luck. If you made it, you didn't make it, hey.
It's always next year.
Always next year, baby.
All right, we're going to get into QBs. Let's pull this up.
And don't break. Then don't break.
Here we are. Pretty detailed list here. We're not going to rank everybody. This is definitely more than 32 QBs, as you can tell. So we're going to hit the vast majority of the NFL starters today. Also, I would like to make a change. F is going to be unproven. There's certain QBs that could fit that mold. To make sure I got everything rolling. Yeah, we're good. All right, Ryan. Start with this S tier. I actually was thinking when we talked today, I think there's 4 QBs that go here, but we can explain as we go.
Oh, you got 4 up there?
Yeah. So I'm gonna let you go ahead. Let's knock this S tier out real quick. Let's talk about the bona fide, studs. Let's get this rolling.
All right. Let's just get it going. The first one I see, let's see. First elite with Josh Allen. He's in the first row. Get him up there in S. He deserves it. He's been, QB1 the better part of the last 4 years for the most part?
QB1, 3 years. QB2 finish last year.
Behind Mahomes. So, do what you want. That man's consistent. Even with his turnover woes, this man is...
Also, too, QB3 in fantasy points per game last year. That's why I want to cover the next guy. But
okay.
Yeah, Josh Allen, passing ability, volume speaks a lot when it comes to Josh Allen as well. We don't talk about that. It's a mobile QB with extended passing volume. We're talking about a guy who finishes in the top 4 every year in passing attempts on top of rushing attempts. He's a beast. He's 250 pounds. He takes the pressure. He takes the hits. He takes the contact. He loves it. He embraces it. He loves Buffalo. He's locked into Buffalo. I really like what they have here with Sean McDermott. I really like the Kincaid pickup. I think he's going to be a QB1. He's 27 right now. And I just don't see a reason. Yeah, I just don't see a reason to even move him out of this tier.
It's gonna be a while before he's out of this S tier, at least in my mind. At least till 30, he's there.
Might be more.
Oh, that's what I was about to say. Because, the older you get, the less legs you get. But the fact he's still throwing for probably 3,700 this year, maybe more.
Yeah. So, I think this dude's floor here can only go up. He's one of the safest floor QBs here. Back-to-back years with 10 plus rushing touchdowns. He has the mobility that you desire for any QB. His weapons are extremely elite with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, and then you added DeAndre Swift to the backfield. I don't think I need to say a whole lot about this man. Give me Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, just I don't want to fight through this too quickly. I do, but I don't. But Jalen Hurts, taking with a tush push next year for sure. Goodell says that's one of his top priorities. Do you think Hurts is going to get hurt by that next year, or do you think, let's do back to the QB sneak?
Nope. I've seen him have 10 plus rushing touchdowns without the tush push. I think there's more creative ways to get him in the end zone. At the same time, we're also talking about a guy. He has more turnovers this year, but we've seen his ceiling in 2022. You're looking at 6 interceptions, and then he doesn't turn the ball over a whole lot. He's very careful, and he's very precise about what he does.
Sure.
The passing attempts have only gone up. Obviously, we're at 430 and we're in week 15. 460 last year, so more this year. The rushing floor is always going to be there. Jalen Hurts is 25. He's in the prime of his career. And that's just what it is.
I don't even know if he's in the prime.
He's definitely something. You're making $255 million.
He's here. That's all I know.
He's
all
here.
Right, S tier. It's a shame that he's third on this list because he's an absolute mega star. Got the highest paid contract in the entire league. I don't even think it's that close. Patrick Mahomes, 10 years, $500 million?
Yep.
Absolute baller.
Team friendly contract as well.
Yeah.
Team friendly.
He doesn't have the weapons this year. He's kind of struggling. Kelsey's getting old. He doesn't have really that elite wide receiver to go to. Got a lot of drop passes this year, but he will prevail. He's a stud. He was QB1 last year. It won't be the last time he'll be QB1 in fantasy in his career. Dude's a baller without the rushing upside of the other two in this tier.
Yeah, the crazy part is like this is the worst we've ever seen Pat Mahomes play.
Right.
And it's not his fault. Like, I mean, I truly, if the number doesn't mistake me, I think the Chiefs are over 30 drops from their wide receiver unit.
Right.
When we're in week 15. That's a huge blow. Rashee Rice is starting to gain some respect for me as well. So I do think they can piece this together very quickly. Remember, Mahomes' deal is a team-friendly deal. It's 10 years of $500 million with a lot of incentive based into his contract. And obviously, we know the NFL, you can kind of hide the salary cap a lot better than what most people think.
Right.
Yeah, Mahomes is it. I mean, we're talking about, 3-time Super Bowl appearances. We're talking about 2 Super Bowl championships, 2 MVPs, 2 Super Bowl MVPs. The dude's resume to this point is unreal. It's not that he's third on this list. I just think I think the other 2 are safer with the rushing floor.
Right.
Mahomes is the best pure QB in the league, in the world. But take that for what it is. So I was thinking, hear me out. We've been talking a lot about this guy, and he's got his team sitting at 10-3. The injury woes the last 2 years. He hasn't been hurt this year. On top of that, Todd Monken comes in. He's averaging the most passes he ever averaged in a season. He's at 29 passes a game. On top of the already over 100 carries, he's sitting at over 650 rushing yards. Elite touchdown to interception ratio, hasn't turned the ball over. Averaging 20 points per game. Why is Lamar Jackson at 26 years old not on this S tier list?
I think when it comes to Lamar, he's gonna talk to the camera. When it comes to Lamar, like definitely elite. I think we've seen the best of him already, though. That MVP season he had, 2019?
2019. But I'm not disagreeing with you.
Right.
I do think, obviously, I can't expect Lamar to throw for 36 touchdowns, rush for over 1,200 yards, 3,600 passing yards. The resume for that season spoke for itself. But I will say, obviously, Mark Andrews isn't healthy, but I do like the addition of Zay Flowers. I'm a big Zay Flowers fan. Mark Andrews is there. The weapons that he had from like 2021 to like 2020 into 2020, 2022 are a lot worse than what he's projected now. I do like the upside of Lamar, especially at 26. I love this is what we've seen. He's got 7 QB1 games.
Yeah.
And Josh Allen has 11. He has more QB1 games than Mahomes. Actually, I think they're tied. But either way, you know what I'm saying? I think the resume for Lamar has spoken for itself, and I do think that if I can get a Lamar that's going to be healthy and give me 16-plus games, I think he belongs in S tier.
For me, he's probably like a high A. When I think like the true elite fantasy quarterbacks, it's the 3 that are up there, and I don't think there's anybody else. I mean, you say Hurts, Allen, Mahomes, and that's really it for me. I don't think Lamar Jackson in my head, but if you're feeling spunky tonight, throw him up there. Especially coming from a Steelers fan.
Hey, bud, man, I get to watch him play every year, and this dude's elite, man. I hate to say he's elite. You're on the board, baby. Start off A tier. Start it off.
Okay. I was about to say, now that we're done with S tier, can we kind of skip around? But all right, we'll keep it trolling into the keep it trolling, keep it rolling in the A tier. Let's start with somebody who's unfortunately hurt. I'm glad we get the opportunity to talk about these guys because this is Dynasty. Give me the absolute stud at LSU, probably the best quarterback season I've ever seen in my life. Give me Joe Burrow, top of the A tier.
Joe Burrow.
Linked up with his college receiver, probably going to keep them around their whole career. Got weapons around him. He's a true winner of the game. Great pure passer. I love Joe Burrow, man.
Yeah, he scares me, man. Not scares me in the aspect of like he scares me outlook like long term. But I will say this, man. They got to figure something out. I mean, this dude's had two season-ending injuries pretty relatively early in his career.
Yeah.
Obviously, we all remember the ACL tear. Now we're here. Joe Burrow is a true winner, absolute true winner. I hate that Lamar and him are both in my division.
Yeah, it really clamps things up for you.
It really sucks. But, I mean, we've seen QB4, QB7 finishes back-to-back years. I mean, we've seen a Super Bowl appearance. We've seen consecutive AFC championships. There's no doubt that this dude's a winner. There's no doubt that this team's he's a straight baller. And he carries a different kind of, like, mentality, different kind of swagger with him. I really do like the kid a lot.
I was going to say, we speak of his injuries, but we've seen Lamar have some pretty weird injuries his career. And, like, given he hasn't had any season endings like Burrow's ACL, but injuries come here and there. It's part of football. I don't think that, it's something you can point to and say, hey, I don't want to own Joe Burrow because he's got two big injuries. Like, that's not
a reason for me to stray away. I do think it's scary. I truly do think it's scary for him.
They just have to get that O-line right, man.
They've tried. I mean, look at the additions. I mean, look at Jonah Williams, look at Orlando Brown, look at Alex Cappa. I mean, like they're trying. That's not that they haven't tried.
Takes time. But they'll get him right.
Yeah. So my next guy, he is now officially on the IR as well. Let me find him. Where'd my boy go?
Right below Levis.
Yeah, J Herb.
Right after Levis.
J Herb, bang.
I was going to say, as much as I love Joe Burrow, fucking love me some Justin Herbert. But I'll let you kick it off. I apologize.
So to be honest with you, I think this is more fantasy relevancy than actual QB relevancy. I don't know if the Chargers, in general, if he's if he's like what they say he is, if he's the next Phillip Rivers, he's a stat pattern, not a winner, true guy, or if just the Chargers are that bad. I haven't decided yet. We are 4 years into his career, but his volume and his ability just to tear it up on the football field in a week in, week out basis puts him here. We're not going to talk about like extreme rushing upside, but we are going to talk about the fact that, he's got 11 rushing touchdowns in 4 years over his career. So that also helps as well. The biggest thing about the Chargers that scares me is the salary cap situation that he's walking into this year. I mean, you got huge salary cap numbers and a wide receiver with an ACL tear. You got Keenan Allen at the age of 32. You got Austin Eckler. What will this Chargers team look like in 2024? I do not know, but I do know one thing is for certain. Justin Herbert is going to sling the bitch over 600 times, and Justin Herbert puts up fantasy monster fantasy days, and I love the kid.
I don't think the Chargers are doing him any favors. I think Staley probably needs to go, if we're being honest. I put a good amount of it on him. Now, I'll say, if Staley goes out the door, they make some coaching changes. They put like a decent roster in front of him, and he goes out next year, and he's still, I'll be concerned. I'll be a little bit concerned, but right now, I still feel pretty confident with Justin Herbert.
We do have a question coming in. Let's just throw it up here. I'm assuming this is for the Week 15 matchup.
Wasn't ready for this. Oh, my God.
So we have Falcons D at Carolina. That's a heavy push for me. No question about it. I want anybody playing Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers at this current moment. Or at the Chargers. Easton Stick or Bryce Young? I'm going to go Falcons.
I think the Falcons have a better unit. I don't really put much stock other than Max Crosby into the Raiders defense.
I'm gonna go Falcons here.
So I'll ride with the Falcons. They're pretty good defense. Pretty good defense this year.
All right, Ryan, you're on the board. Take your pick.
Back up. All right, let me see. God, these faces are so small on my screen, dude. I can't see like anything. Let's go. Super hot on America's team. Give me Dak Prescott in the A tier. Argue with a wall if you don't have him up there. He had that brutal ankle injury. Took a little bit to get back from it, but this year, man, he is all the way back, especially towards the end of the season.
Here we go. Here we go. I love it.
Here we go, baby.
Here we go.
Scream it to the skies.
Yeah, this I'll be honest with you, man. I know they got blown out by San Fran, and I know they lost a brutal heartbreaker in Philly, but this is the best we've ever seen Dak Prescott play.
Yeah.
This Texas Coast offense, man, I with a run first mindset that Mike McCarthy always showed when he was in Green Bay kind of scared me with Dak. We've seen Dak be careful with the ball. He's only got 6 picks on the year. I mean, we've seen an evolution of Dak's game. Dak looks
almost
really
70%
good.
completion percentage as well. So that's
Dak looks really good. He's only 30. I don't start to even pressure the age group, especially with how Dak's playing now. Dak isn't that rusher he was when he came out of Mississippi State in 2016.
right.
He's going to become a true pocket presence type guy, take off when necessary, like Russ has later in his career. Dak's fine.
Yeah, I was going to say I was going to touch on the rushing aspect with he's not rushing anymore, but now he's out here throwing 3-4 touchdowns a game. It seems like seems automatic. Given that game against the Niners wasn't that pretty. But
I'm up. Oh,
you're up.
I'm up. All right, man. First off, apologies to Mr. CJ Stroud, but you're going on the A squad, baby. I've seen enough.
I'm so sorry that Dak leads the NFL in passing touchdowns.
Yes.
Wow.
I've seen enough.
Sorry.
I've seen enough from Stroud here, guys. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Dude, CJ, absolute stud.
Why is he not? Name one good reason why he shouldn't be in the A tier. I mean, you kind of have like a Herbert rookie season in the way Herbert.
No. It's not that. It's not that. What I'm saying is I'm so sorry for how I evaluated Stroud and how
Okay.
It was just the thing is and I didn't helmet scout to a point, but at a certain time I know we all did. But when I watched Stroud's tape, it came down to, is it Stroud or is it the wide receiver unit that Brian Hartline put out at Ohio State? Because it's a stud wide receiver unit. Is he going to be able to progress past one read? Things like that. Because that's Ohio State's a quick, fast offense. Is he going to be able to progress past the one read type thing? Be able to go through his progressions? He's above his time. He's way ahead of his time, dude. This kid is a QB that I feel comfortable building around for years to come. At 22 years old, the Texans' offense looks fun. They look exciting. They didn't lose any draft capital to go up and get their QB. I'm excited to see what the Texans bring around CJ Stroud.
That's the important thing.
The rookie passing, single game passing record for yardage with a 470-yard game, 5-touchdown game in week 9. That was stellar. Dude's got 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He's already showing that he's not going to turn the ball over. I like everything I see from this kid, man. I truly do.
Yeah. I mean, got put into a pretty decent system. He's made it work. He got Tank Dell, who he wanted out of the draft.
Nico Collins balling.
You see why he wanted Tank Dell in that draft. Nico Collins is balling. And
Dalton Schultz playing good football.
He's not only a great quarterback, he's also elevating the receivers around him. I can't sit here and tell you that Tank Dell or Nico Collins will go to another roster and be balling the way they are right now. I think that's important too.
Noah Brown.
Exactly. I mean, go down the list. Robert Woods. He's not great, but I'm saying he doesn't really have that stud.
Right.
receiver.
That's what I'm saying too. Another question coming in here. 2 wide receivers: Higgins, Terry, Reed, D-Hop, Watson. 3 running backs: Connor, Jones, Mixon, Pacheco. Chase Brown. I'm assuming Jones. We're talking about Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I would imagine too.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not starting. For my running backs, if Pacheco's playing, I'm starting Pacheco.
Right, I agree with that.
I'm starting Mixon.
Now, when it gets to receivers, I know Higgins just had a touchdown last week. I still don't feel comfortable starting him with Jake Browning. Terry McLaurin, I kind of lean towards a little bit just because of the passing volume that Sam Howell provides. I mean, he leads the league in passing attempts right now. So,
see, what I hate about McLaurin here is that we've seen volume in certain ways, but last game we had 3 targets, zero yards. We haven't seen a touchdown since week 8. I don't think McLaurin is a surefire start in any way. If that's Jaden Reed, I'm starting Jaden Reed.
Yeah, that was the next name I was getting to. I'm starting Jaden Reed, highly involved in this offense in rushing and receiving. And then probably I don't love Christian Watson. I mean, he's up and down.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if that's Christian Watson or Justin Watson.
I'm assuming Christian Watson, but I would probably go Reed and D-Hop.
Yeah, I'm going Reed and D-Hop as well. D-Hop looks real good. 24 targets the last 2 weeks. We just saw the 124-yard game, back-to-back weeks with touchdowns. D-Hop's turning back the clock. So I'm going Reed. I'm going D-Hop. Running backs, I think Mixon, Pacheco for sure. Waiting on the status of Aaron Jones. I don't trust it with a knee injury. If I have to have a viable starter, I know he's in San Fran, but it's James Conner for me. I don't even know if Jones is going to play.
What's my thing? If
Aaron Jones on a multi-week absence with a knee injury as well, dude. Yeah. I'm already starting Mixon Pacheco. It's got to be Connor. I can't start Mixon and Chase Brown.
Oh, start 3 running backs. Oh, yeah sure. I didn't see the 3. I just thought it was 2 and 2. Yeah, start Connor. That's fine. Chase Brown's been explosive, but anybody in like that running back 2 role in the offense, a little bit scary for me.
I wrote about it today. It's Mixon's backfield for 2023. Chase Brown showed a lot on that 54-yard screen pass to the house, but at the same time, only 17 carries in 2 weeks. They're trying to run the ball, and the ball is going to Mixon's hands. Mixon is a huge benefactor of the Joe Burrow injury. He's had a lot of touches, a lot. Play the volume. All right, Ryan.
Me up. All right. Right back into it. See, this is what I think we get into, not like a bit questionable range, but we're starting to, at least for me, based on what I'm seeing on stats this year and going forward.
Shit, I see 3 more that deserve to be in A tier.
But right now, one of the ones I have still comfortably in A tier is probably Tua. Love him in this McDaniels offense. He's got stud receivers. He's got somehow ageless Mostert and then A-Chain ready to roll whenever whenever Mostert decides he's going to retire. Love this offense, dude. Love it. I'm really not too extremely worried until Hill retires, and then we'll kind of address that. But I think Waddle can slide nicely into that Tyreek Hill role. They're kind of like the same player. Not the same player because there's no other Tyreek Hill, but they have similar skill sets to where I think they can just plug Waddle in and keep it pushing. So I like Tua's long-term fantasy value here in the A tier.
Yeah, we're at the same outlook as last year. We have finally hit the 13-game mark. I know Tua extremely injured last year. Around the same numbers, 25 and 8, 25 touchdown, 8 interception last year. This year we're at 24 and 10. Not the ability, but the willingness to run we showed the first 2 years is probably essentially gone. So we can say that's out the window. But he plays with probably one of the best 1-2 wide receiver combos in the league. If Tua is going to give you 17 games and finish as a top 10 QB, I have no problem with him being here. He is 10. That comes in at 10. I truly do like Tua. I had him pegged as as like a dark horse MVP candidate going into the year. I have no problem.
I think he is still in the MVP race.
If anybody's winning it from his squad, it's definitely
Tyreek. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, that's 70% completion percentage. I mean, he's always had that high completion percentage year in, year out. He's just safe for the ball. That's what I like to see. What did you say? 8 interceptions on the year?
10. 8 last year, 10 this
8 last year, 10 this year. Yeah, I'm seeing it. But yeah, I like doing this offense.
I hate to do this. I truly do. But it's time to address this issue. I'm ready to give this dude love, man. I have loved what I've seen. He's the last one I want to put here, and then it's like a tear break for me. I know you call me crazy. I know you may say that, T-Law deserves to be here. But in the system, in the scheme, and in what he's done, you have to tell me why Trevor Lawrence deserves to be ahead of Brock Purdy. Don't tell me about college pedigree. Don't tell me about draft capital status. Don't tell me about any of it. Tell me why.
Hey, man, you're not going to hear much out of me. I think T-Law has been, for the most part, a little bit of a letdown compared to what he was supposed to be, especially through his college career. Even out of high school, people knew who he was. He was supposed to be this, golden boy. Definitely hasn't quite lived up to it just yet. I think 2 years ago when he was coming out, people probably had him high A tier before he even played a snap. And you're right. Me personally, I don't feel 100% comfortable putting him in A tier as well. But to touch on Brock Purdy, which is the subject matter, he almost has 10 yards per pass completion this year. That is insane production, given that has a lot to do with the offense around him. He has Debo, he has Ayuk, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey. I mean, go down the list. He's got weapons around him to make these numbers happen. But I think it's time to stop discrediting him because of the weapons and start looking at it, okay, maybe this guy's actually really got it. I mean, he outright won a job against a quarterback that they put heavy assets into. That were either 2 firsts and 2 seconds to go and get Trey Lance, and they feel comfortable putting Brock Purdy out there, and it has paid off for them.
Imagine if they didn't make the trade and they just rolled with, and they didn't go get Trey Lance, and what that team would look like now with 2 firsts, 2 seconds on the board.
Right.
Craziness. Brock Purdy's been special, man. I'm a big Trey Lance believer. I always was. And I finally have to really eat these words, but Brock Purdy is legit, man.
Could he be a system guy? Maybe.
I hate the term system QB.
I do too.
Every QB plays
thrown around a lot.
Every QB plays in a scheme.
Yeah.
Whether the QB is better and whether the scheme fits the player and makes them look better on Sundays, Mondays, Saturdays in the playoffs, I don't care. Thursdays, I don't care. All I know is Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy are a perfect fit. This dude plays in the best offensive system in the NFL.
Yep.
He has the best weapons around him, 1 through 4 in the NFL. And that's it.
So I'm up.
You're up.
And I said what we said about Trevor Lawrence. So let's just go ahead and get him up there, top of the B class. I
think there's somebody ahead of Trevor. I do.
Who, Kyler?
Yeah.
Listen, man, that was going to be my pick, but we already touched on T-Law. You want to talk about Kyler Murray? I'm your guy, man.
Talk about him, man. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to show how you feel, bro.
Look, dude, here's the thing. And I don't like to toot my own horn. That's not what I like to do on this podcast. I like to just let the words do the speaking for the most part. All offseason, going into the season, the whole 9, I backed Kyler Murray all the way. And I had every creator that we collabed with tell me I was wrong. That's fine. I get it. It was bleak. They were bad. They were looking at that one overall pick. For Caleb Williams, can they move on from Kyler? We're talking fantasy football here in Dynasty. He has rushing upside. He's never averaged less than 20 points per game in a fantasy setting. And you've seen that still this year, despite coming back from the ACL, he's still hitting that 20-point mark on average through the 4 games he's played this year. Kid's a stud. He's a fantasy producer. I think he has every right to be up here in that B tier. I don't think he's going anywhere, to be honest with you, unless they surprise me. But I think he is a Cardinal, and I think they go get Marvin Harrison, get him that elite receiver, keep it pushing.
Sure. So Kyler never averaged under 20 a game as a full season starter. Last year when he tore his ACL, he was averaging over 20 a game. He comes back, he's got 4 starts under his belt. He's averaging almost 18, 19. So we're going to, we're not at the 20 mark, but we're pretty damn close.
Well, last week had to throw it all big time. What did he get last week?
He right now sits at 18.29 PPR.
All right, if he's under that
Either
mark,
way,
I apologize.
Either way, he's 4 starts in, and he's still scoring more than Trevor Lawrence per game. That's a problem. Anyway, what I'm saying to you is this. Kyler Murray, does he win the big games? Has he won big games in his career? No. I get it. But in fantasy, this dude is a production magnet. It's what he does. He's a beast. He just stop it.
Right. And that's what we've both kind of touched on all year.
Yeah, I love Kyler.
So
sitting at the 3 pick right now. I think Marvin Harrison is going to be a Cardinal. I truly do.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, sign me up.
Sign me up.
Sign me up. Trey McBride showing his, showing out. Hollywood hasn't been necessarily most healthy, but him and Kyler have a connection all the way back to Oklahoma. They went and got their left tackle, Paris Johnson, that they truly, truly believed in last year. That Kyler was asking for O-line upgrades for 2 years. So you're not going to hear anything from me. Yeah, for sure. And I think I would put Kyler in A. I think that's the tier break for me is Purdy Kyler. I would put Kyler in A. I feel comfortable doing that, but we'll start him in B.
Nah, put him in A, man. Put him in A. You threw me off. You said that Purdy was the last of your A tier, so I thought we were moving down. I would have argued Kyler at A. So yeah.
My first BQB, Trevor. He hasn't been bad. Obviously, number 1 draft status brings a whole nother level of expectation to you. I do think that Trevor showed me a lot last year. He did look good last year. He played as the QB8, no problem. QB11 this year, solid. The expectations that the kid had on his shoulders, I think, were extremely unfair.
That's fair.
It was extremely unfair. I can't lie. At the same time, they went and got Calvin Ridley. This dude was supposed to be top 3 QB, set it and forget it type of guy. We haven't seen that. And at the same time, I don't think he's ever going to hit the passing volume that guys like Jay Herb, Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow are going to hit. I don't think he'll ever hit the 600 pass plateau. He may hit it. He may get close, but he's not going to hit like 680 like Justin Herbert. He's not going to hit like 670 like Pat Mahomes. He's not going to hit like 685 like Brady did in 2022. Doug Peterson likes to use his running backs.
Yeah.
I think this is fair, man. I truly do. I have like these top 12, 13 QBs are all studs by the rights. You know what I mean? And we have Caleb Williams coming in this year. I think this is where Trevor Lawrence and his play has shown me where he deserves to be.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I kind of said my piece with T-Law when we were talking about Brock Purdy. A lot of you guys might hate us for this. I mean, you might be looking at us like we're crazy for putting T-Law in B. And I can understand. There's a lot of pushback when you go against the grain. A lot of people probably wouldn't have him B tier behind some of these guys, but sometimes you just got to look at play, man. I mean, he got his quote-unquote elite receiver in Calvin Ridley. They went out and got that weapon. We've seen other quarterbacks take a step with their elite receiver. If anything, he's playing worse than he was last year. I don't know, man. Top of B, I think, is where he's at.
Agreed. And you're on the block, baby.
All right. So here's another guy that I think could kind of like sneak into the A tier, maybe be a little bit above Trevor Lawrence if his
Oh man, you're gonna take my guy, aren't you?
if his job wasn't in question.
You're gonna take my guy,
Justin Fields.
Ooh, you didn't take my guy.
Sorry, bud. Had to do it. He's next up for me, man.
No, you didn't. You didn't take my guy. Cool.
No,
cool.
I didn't.
No.
Okay. I think I know who you're going next. But let's give Justin Fields some love. He got, like I just touched on, the elite receiver edition for T-Law. He got DJ Moore. Him and DJ Moore are balling.
Yeah, DJ Moore, wide receiver 7 on the year, guys. Just so you know.
Yeah, sure enough. Now, given his passing volume going to be there, is he going to like blow the top off with like passing attempts and all that? No, but that rushing upside is insane. He touched 1,000 yards last year on the ground.
1143.
That's insane. I want that production. I just wish that like his job wasn't in question. Otherwise, he'd probably be in that A tier for me. And I think like it's a little bit unfair to him for his job to be up in the air, considering they don't really have a lot around him. I think he's a fine quarterback, and especially in fantasy because of that rushing upside. Now, like franchise quarterback wise, he'd be kind of far down my list, but fantasy, give me some Justin Fields, man.
I do think a lot of coaching staffs have handled him wrong. I don't think he's been developed properly. I think there are some things that could be cleaned up with Fields. I'm not saying that the Bears are automatically going to draft Caleb Williams because I don't know. The biggest thing that scares me here is in fantasy relevancy to real life. If your QB isn't starting, he's not producing on your fantasy squads. So that's what scares me with Fields. But no doubt in elite production. And he's taken the step with DJ Moore that I wanted to see, and also Cole Kmet. I think they've looked really good. If they somehow win some games here, he might be able to save his job in that aspect. I will say they didn't live up to their expectations as a whole, the roster, because they made a lot of great additions to the roster, and I think they can continue to do that. I just don't know if it's going to be with Justin Fields. Right. Or Caleb Williams. That's what scares me.
I mean, they flip a coin either way. I mean, the Bears situation is not pretty. Eberflus is kind of a disaster of a coach in my mind. They've kind of been poverty. They've never had a real quarterback ever, I don't think. Welcome back, Ted. Got to see you here, buddy.
Back, brother. You did not take my guy. I'm so excited. Anthony Richardson.
Hey man, I'm not gonna hold you. He's got the same upside Fields does.
I think it's higher. I do think it's higher.
That's fair. That's fair.
I will be honest with you, man. I mean, we've seen 2 QB2. I know he got hurt in week 4. We've seen 2 QB2 performances. Right. I mean, we've seen a multi-pass touchdown game. We've seen 3 rushing touchdowns in 3 consecutive games under Anthony Richardson. I really liked what I saw there. He didn't even get to play with JT.
No, so sad.
I'm a big believer in what they're doing there. I love Josh Downs as a slot receiver. I'm a big fan of Michael Pittman, even though you are not. I'm a big fan of Pittman. A healthy JT next year with AR. I'm excited to see this kid grow into his game. I have Richardson over Fields personally.
You can throw it up there. That's fine. Put him above. You can even put him above T-Law for all I care. But so the only thing that worries me about Richardson is he has a lengthy, and I mean lengthy, injury career.
Sure.
And the list is long, dating back to his freshman year in college. It's a little bit concerning. Every year he suffers something. This year, season-ending injury as well. Not something you love to see out of a rookie quarterback. But with his upside, he 100% deserves to be where he's at, especially in Dynasty. He's a young kid. Shane Steichen, great quarterback coach. Kind of just who he needs to be successful. I'm excited to see him back next year.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. All right, continuing on in this tier. Man, all the easy ones are gone in this tier now. But, I mean, we'll give this guy props. This is another one of those guys people love to peg as, like, a game manager. He's nothing too crazy. But I like Jared Goff, man. I think he's really found his mark. He's really found his mark in Detroit. The team is heavy producer. They got Munro. They have Gibbs and Montgomery out of the backfield. They're trying to put together things for JMO, but it's not quite clicking. I'm not really going in any order here, by the way, Steve. I'm just kind of like plucking guys who I think deserve to be in the tier.
Yeah, that's fine.
If you want to reorganize it later, be my guest. But I think Goff 100% deserves to be in this tier. Especially we've seen him improve since he was with the Rams.
Yeah, no question about it. I thought Jared Goff was going to be a bridge QB. They took on a contract when the Rams made the trade. They took on partial contract, so I thought he was just going to be a bridge QB 1 year. They were going to be terrible. And then they were going to figure it out later. Come to find out, they weren't terrible. Jared Goff played as a top 10 QB.
Right.
And here we are again. The same things happening for Jared Goff this year. It is a sight to see. I really like this offense. Probably the best offensive line in football. If we can come to an agreement on that, they're studs. It's either them or Philadelphia. They're studs. Probably one of the best 1-2 running back combinations in the game. Amon-Ra, Sam Laporta, Jamison Williams, Josh Reynolds. God damn!
Somehow I managed to forget Laporta on my list, but yeah, I mean he's got weapons around him, and I don't think he's that bridge. I don't think he's that bridge quarterback anymore.
No, and the thing is, they're just vulnerable against the pass. I mean, look at they're easily winning the NFC North right now. At the same time, we're also talking about a team that drastically improved against the run game. They're top 7 against the run. We're good. I'm good with it.
Yep. Scroll back up. Let me see that beautiful list we got put together so far.
Yeah, no, for sure. I see what Ted's talking about. We're definitely going to be talking about this as well. We got a good list. This is a pretty good list here. Remember, Ted, this is Dynasty, so I have no problem with this pick. But you know what? I do think there were 2 more QBs that we could put in this list. Unfortunately, I would have Kirk ahead of Russ if Kirk were healthy, but I will throw Russ here. I will throw Russ here. If Kirk were healthy, it would be the other way around. So with Russ, is there anything that I have to say that resume doesn't speak for itself? I mean,
not really.
What I mean?
I just think last year he left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths.
Yeah, he did. And I mean, at the end of the day, we remember his last year in Seattle when he broke his thumb. He missed 4 weeks. He was playing as a QB7 pace at that point in the season. Him and DK were balling. And then, that sucks. But through the stretch from 2020 all the way back to 2013, we've seen Russ finish as a QB1. Hell of a stretch. Russ has a hell of a career. We are now here, him and Sean Payton. The Broncos won 5 straight before losing the game. Now they're 7-6 in the playoff hunt. He is right. We have Russ at, 23 touchdowns, 8 interceptions here with 2 rushing touchdowns, 25 total scores. It's not going to be the same Russ that we've seen with, the high ability upside, the 6 touchdowns rushing that we've seen.
Right.
But at this point in his career, Russ is 35. His play alone, he earns to be here. So I have no problem with him here.
Yeah, no problem. Sorry. I got commotion going on the other side of the door. I apologize. But yeah, no, I like Russell Wilson. I actually have a good amount of stock in him. So last year, we're rough for me. This year, we're back to normal. Well, not normal. I shouldn't say that because he's not like the magician Russ he was with Pete.
Yeah, he's not 20. He's not 22. 2015 Seattle Russ. He's not seeing that
anymore. I'll give you that. But dude's still a baller. And Sean Payton, like Ted touched on, this is my next pick. I kind of figured you're going to pick Kirk Cousins. Russell Wilson was going to be on this tier for me. Yeah, I just like what I see this year, especially with Sean Payton. Give him another year. Next year, you might be even better.
You're on the clock, buddy.
All right, I'm just going to take who I assumed you were going to take. Give me Big Kirko chains.
Yeah.
I mean, despite the injury.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Take it like it's tough. You know what I mean? Like an Achilles is rough, but he's never been a rushing quarterback. He's always been a pocket passer. I don't think the Achilles is going to hinder him quite as much of like say like obviously like one of the high end rushing quarterbacks like Justin Fields or Lamar Jackson tore his ACL. And that would not or tore his Achilles. That wouldn't be good. But Kirk's in the pocket without that injury. He's probably above Russell Wilson.
Yeah, he is for sure.
And I get like, contract's not there for him yet. Not 100% sure, but I would imagine before he got injured, he kind of earned his spot with the Vikings going forward.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we're talking about a guy who was averaging almost 19 a game, QB6 finished last year, and multiple, QB1 finishes in his career.
Yeah.
He's not the most exotic QB. We all know that. He doesn't offer high upside rushing, but at the same time, he's going to sling the ball. Last year, he threw the ball, 643 times? I mean,
he's probably about on that pace this year.
Yeah. And I mean, at the same time, the system works perfectly. I mean, when you get to play with Justin Jefferson in addition to Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson on the trade.
Justin Jefferson,
the running back situation got worse. He didn't have prime Dalvin like he did, but at the same time, whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah, Madison isn't quite what people thought he was going to be.
Kirk Cousins deserves to be here.
Yeah.
The one guy I wanted to talk about, though, I would have him above Kirk only because I know he's not injured at this current moment, would be Jordan Love.
Well, like I said, I'm not – you want to adjust things, move people around. I'm not going in any order.
No, it's not that. It's not that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying personally what I would say. We've seen the highs and lows of Jordan Love. Jordan Love's had highs. Jordan Love's had lows this season. At the same time, remember, this is his first full year as a starting QB. Sat behind Aaron Rodgers for 3 years. Finally gets the opportunity to come in here into the big games. And here we are. He also, remember, he has a young weapon. He has a young weapon core. The only person with a significant age is his running backs. And Aaron Jones hasn't been on the field much this year. But between Dontavian Wicks, Luke Musgrave, Tucker Kraft, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, I really do like what they're doing here. You could see how poised he is on the field at times. Some bad decisions. I mean, a first full-year QB is going to make those decisions at times. But the way he runs the offense, the way he's poised on the field, the way he leads his team, I do really like what I see from Jordan Love. Again, we are now in a franchise tag or contract year. I'm assuming the franchise tag's coming for Jordan Love this year at 25.
Probably. Yeah.
I really, really want to see what he can become because I do think out of any of these guys, him and Anthony Richardson, have the ability to have upside.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they're going to shoot to A tier. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying, they can improve their status.
I think between the two of them, I think Richardson could easily shoot up to the A tier. But
I do.
We'll get him back. Jordan Love might take a little bit more. I think Love can be at the top of B, maybe at the most in his career. Now, we'll see. The Packers have had an amazing spree of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Amazing. From Favre into Rodgers, and now we have Jordan Love, who looks like, like you said, he's got up and downs, but it's his first year as a starter. We kind of expect that. So we'll see what he can do going forward. But yeah, I mean, some games he looks amazing. Other games he looks
he struggles. It's part of the league, man. He's a first-year starter at 25 years old. You know what I mean? Yeah. He was a first overall pick he was a first-round pick in 2019. I mean, you know what I mean? They saw something. Everybody got mad when they took Jordan Love, but there had to be a predecessor. And at this point, I don't mind what I've seen from Jordan Love. He's playing as the QB9 in fantasy football this year. Again, we've all seen the real-life struggles, but at the same time, this whole roster struggled. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. This team is still – it's been that way since Rodgers was there. It's still a bottom 10 run defense. You know what I mean? They get torched every week on the ground. But either way, you're up.
All right, so this is kind of where I'm looking at B, maybe top C here with this next guy. We can kind of talk this one out. Has the most passing attempts so far this year. Sam Howell.
Yeah, I think he leads the C tier for sure.
I was about to say, for me, he's the start of C tier. If you were going to argue with me, end of B, I was going to be okay with that. But I mean, 509 attempts so far this year is amazing, but only 6.8 yards per pass.
Ted, that is the truth, man. I think a lot of people are sleeping on the fact that Jordan Love has extreme upside to be a really, really talented QB in the NFL. Absolutely. I 100% agree with this statement.
Yep. But yeah, somehow. And is he really like locked in as the quarterback there going forward, or can they kind of like look to go elsewhere? I mean, he does have 14 interceptions. He got 16-14. But this is where like age kind of comes into Dynasty, because like there's a few guys that maybe have proven themselves in the league for a little longer, but you can argue be above him. But
I do not think it's fair to truly evaluate Sam Howell when you're the most sacked QB in the league and you're on pace to be the most sacked QB in a single season in NFL history.
That's true.
This is a really tough evaluation for me. Because there are things in Sam Howell's game that I do like, and there's also things that we can say that we don't like.
Yeah.
Obviously, the league leader in passing yards is a huge thing. Passing attempts is a huge thing, just because their defense is absolutely god awful. They allow a lot of points. He's a fifth-round pick. Not a lot of draft status when it comes to a fifth-round pick. I do not think this whole coaching regime is going to be there other than Eric Bieniemy.
Right.
I think they clear house. I don't know if he survives the draft. I know they have a top 6 pick as it currently stands. So we will see with Sam Howell.
Yeah, I was kind of getting at. So like, you gotta look at age here in the situation. It's tough.
I do like Sam Howell though, so no question about it.
Also, he does not lead the league in passing yards anymore. That belongs to Tua.
Okay, I mean on a bye week, but
yeah.
Here we go. I think he deserves to be here. Obviously, we're talking about 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers here. We're not talking about 25-year-old Aaron Rodgers, 26-year-old Aaron Rodgers.
That's a tough man.
It sucks to say this about Aaron Rodgers. We are now at the point of his career where we were contemplating retirement, coming off an Achilles injury. Will he be back next year? I'm assuming he will be. Based off pure talent alone, Aaron Rodgers is probably still a high-end A, low-end A, high B QB. Fucking took Garrett Wilson's breakout season from me, bastard.
4 plays into the season, he's gone.
Again, this is Dynasty. This is Dynasty, guys. So please remember that before we get roasted in here. Yeah, man. At 40 years old, sucks. But this is where Aaron Rodgers has got to be.
I could argue he could be pretty far down the C tier. I mean, you kind of touched on it already. It's like you might get one more season out of him. Given it's going to be a high floor season if he stays with the Jets, which I would imagine he would. He wants to play now. Why wouldn't he want to play next year? So, like, take what you want. If you're really in a win now situation, sure. Having him in this front C tier makes a lot of sense, but he'd be kind of farther down the list for me. But that being said, I'm up.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're going to get into some of these vets. Let's go Matthew Stafford next. Like I said, not really going in any specific order here, but has a young rookie in Puka Nacua to follow behind Cooper Kupp when Cooper Kupp finally hits the door. Has Sean McVay. I think last year was tough for him. Him and Russ both got.
So, Roll, I will say this. Remember this. This is just QBs in a certain tier. They're not specifically ranked.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there can always be adjustments to the tiers. This is just a certain tier break that we have. The QBs in their tiers they're not ranked specifically. We personally agree on the Love thing. Like I said, we think he's developing into a QB. We've talked about his highs and lows. We've talked about, his overall poise in the system and things like that. But again, remember, these aren't current rankings. These are just tiers. The QBs are set in tiers.
Yeah, I've been trying to keep saying that throughout, but yeah, no, none of these tiers you see are like any exact order. It's kind of just like we're going down. We're just doing a snake draft pretty much between me and Steven, whoever we say is going up. But yeah, you're right. I mean, Dynasty speaking, he's definitely probably ahead of Kirk and Russ and Goff just because of the youth. And I think right now he probably sits for me behind AR.
I don't know. I think him and Goff are a good discussion.
It's fair.
To be honest with you.
But that's not what we're here to argue about. But yeah, Matthew Stafford. Probably locked in. I mean, I like him. He's got to get around that 4,000-yard mark. Just about every year he's there. Right now he's sitting at 3,000, so I don't think he'll quite hit 4,000 this year. But, I mean, solid quarterback. Had a rough year last year, but a lot of that probably had to do with his shoulder injury. I think it's pretty trustworthy.
Yeah.
But nothing like absolutely blow my socks off.
Yeah, no question. No question. I do want to throw
a lot of faces.
Oh, man. This is terrible.
Terrible.
Again, the contract was team friendly, and he has his number 1 and number 2 and number 3 receiver for next year. It's been a huge, drastic down year as opposed to what I saw from him last year. I haven't been a huge fan of him this year. I think it's been, like I said, it's been a huge, drastic down year as compared. I think this is where Geno belongs.
Yeah.
What can I say about Geno here? Again, it wasn't a QB5 finish like we saw in 2022. Didn't expect it to be. At this point, he's playing as the QB 18. Okay. Seattle overall as a team, not bad. Geno, not bad. Top 50 player, not a whole lot to say.
Yeah, not really a whole lot. Big downfall from last year. Definitely didn't, as far as draft cap goes, people kind of on him as like that. Okay, I could wait on a quarterback and go get one. He hasn't been.
Actually, I'm changing my guy. Sorry.
What?
Yep, sorry, changing my guy.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I missed him. Baker, switch him.
As we literally just told this guy it's not in any order, and then you fucking put Baker.
No, I know, but I missed his face. I'm sorry. Baker, 7 QB1 games. You know what I mean? We've seen the Baker story ride. We've seen it. You know what I mean? Everybody booed him in Cleveland. Then we go to Carolina. Then we go to LA. Now we're in Tampa. He's been good. He has been good.
Yeah.
He's got 7 QB1 games, man. He finds a way to hold on, man.
So you simultaneously stole my next 2 picks. So that's fun. So that's fun. So it's back to the drawing board here for me.
I wanted you to talk about Danny Dimes, bro.
See, I don't want to talk about Danny Dimes. It's like you can argue him back a C or the beginning of D. I mean, his job isn't even locked in. I mean, the Giants going to have a high draft pick, given it's not going to be the top 3 pick like it was going to be because Tommy DeVito is ruining things for us. Do I love to see the Giants win? Sure. But in a year like this, maybe I don't want to see him win so much. But like I said, we're talking Dynasty here. I just don't, with his job not locked in, and he looked rough this year. Rough. I don't know where to put him. That's why I've kind of been avoiding him. But I guess based off what we saw just last year, maybe he deserves back end C. But with his job on the line, I wouldn't even mind putting him in D, to be honest with you. I love the rushing upside.
You tell me.
I love the rushing upside for Daniel Jones.
Okay. We'll put him here.
But that's about it, man. I just job on the line, didn't prove anything before his injury. We'll see.
This is the fun part. I love it.
I mean, we're still staring down the barrel of Derek Carr.
Oh. Based off play? Right there. No question.
That's what I'm saying is we put Daniel Jones in C, but Derek Carr in D,
I mean, you tell me, because here's where I'll put him. There you go. Just so you feel comfortable.
Thanks, buddy.
All I'm saying is this. Rushing upside, Daniel Jones possesses a lot more than Derek Carr. I've seen Derek Carr go down with multiple injuries this year, so I'm not going to completely blame Derek Carr in that aspect. But at the same time, I've not been impressed with his play. You can't say you've been impressed.
No.
this Saints team has been unimpressive. Again, Chris Olave leads the league in air yards. Air yards are not yards. So here we are. The only player that's extremely relevant outside of Chris Olave is Alvin Kamara. That's because he catches 8 dump offs a game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Personally, at this point, I'd rather see Jameis Winston play for the New Orleans Saints.
What's the thing about Derek Carr? Is like he's always been that average quarterback, middle of the pack type.
He hasn't been this bad.
He's bad. I mean, that's true, but he's always sat around that like QB like 17 to like 14 mark. Like he's never broken the top 10 as a quarterback. And I don't know why people thought a change to the Saints would do anything for him, but I was never fooled personally. Chris Olave was nice for a receiver, but I don't know. Derek Carr's always been meh for me. Not something I'm like actively seeking out.
Sure.
All right. Well, I mean, what are the details? So at this point, it doesn't really matter. But where's Mac Jones' ugly ass mug? Because I can't stand watching him play football. Is that Mac Jones?
That's Mac Jones.
My screen is so small. I apologize. But yeah, like his rookie year, decent. I think he like kind of impressed based off like what people expected. But since then, it's been the stock market when COVID hit, baby. It's just down, man. And you gotta think with their sitting in that 2 slot, they've already chosen Zappy to start over him. Mac Jones is about done. Is done.
RIP, RIP, baby.
Yep, he's about done. Is done. So we have an unproven category. Mac Jones deserves to be in the mud.
Oh yeah, he's in the mud. And remember, we're only doing starting QBs here, guys. There's a lot of QBs, backup QBs on this list.
Still got Ritter, Bryce Young.
I know.
Kenny Pickett. Ugh.
I guess I got to talk about my boy.
Yeah.
At first, I blamed it all on Matt Canada. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Everybody did.
Then we have our first 400-yard game. Then Kenny goes down with another ankle injury. Right. It's terrible to say this. As we continue to lose more games and improve our draft status, I am more comfortable with the idea of Jaden Daniels being a Pittsburgh Steeler or us making a trade. I am. It sucks. I haven't been impressed. He's not seeing the field well. He's looking to come out of the pocket too quickly. He doesn't see the pocket collapsing. He doesn't know how to step up in the pocket. There are just things that I have not been impressed with when it comes to Kenny Pickett, and I just don't see it.
I have nothing good to say about Kenny Pickett. We're on the last few, so let's just knock him out. I know you got to get off here. We're over the hour mark. Throw Desmond Ritter up there. Not anything I've really been super impressed with. He does have games where he actually looks pretty impressive. Young kid, he's got time to figure it out. Arthur Smith could be a little bit of pain in his ass, but I don't see anything too crazy that like I can point to and say, okay, I really believe in this guy to be like anything more than in the D tier. So,
I think he belongs here as well. He was drafted to be a starting QB. At this point, he is not due to the Aaron Rodgers trade. But I do believe Zach Wilson being talked about in the starting circles deserves to be here.
Am I missing anybody here? Ryan
no starters.
Yeah,
no starters.
Well,
I mean, we have the 2 starters that I think, like when we truly break this down, I think they deserve to be an unproven.
Right. Yeah.
I think with the firing of Frank Reich, I think with the system that Bryce Young walked into, I think it's way too early to break down and assess Bryce Young as a perennial bust. I truly do. I think you can't make that assumption until you see year 2. Let's see if we see anything differently. And then Will Levis, he just became a starter 5 games ago.
Yeah, I left him there.
I'm not willing to properly place them in any ranking. I do think they belong here. And from that point on, the rest are backups. Just to recap here, this is what we have, boys.
Reading a week, just a disclaimer. 1, this is Dynasty. Let's keep that flat. 2, these tiers are not in any order. It's just a tier. Don't look into it too hard. Who you see in A tier deserves to be there. B, C, D, all the way down the board. But yeah, there's your final Dynasty QB tier list.
Yep. I cannot say that we are going to commit Saturday to a start sit show. My wife graduated nursing school this week, and we are having her party. So I cannot say that I'm going to commit to a start sit. Yeah, so congratulations. Shout out to my wife. She's a fucking rock star.
Way to go, Kristen.
I cannot say I'm going to commit to a start sit. I will let Alex and Ryan know later on in the week.
I'll be at that party too, man. So there goes.
Yeah, Ryan will be at the party. So we'll see.
Neither of us are good.
We might be live from a nursing party. Yeah. Other than that, I'm going to stop sharing the screen. We've had a lot of fun with this. People forget that like Dynasty is our bread and butter. This is where we all started.
Right.
We're so excited to get into the off season and get going with the 2024 player profiles as well. Stafford or Fields? Fields. For sure.
Especially playoffs.
Can't wait. So excited. Dynasty is our bread and butter. We love it. Next week, though, wide receivers. Strap in. It's going to take a while.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be a long show, son. We might even have to preset some guys in these tiers because
it's going to be a long
receivers show. Is going to take, if we went through every single one, probably like 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Ryan, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah. Got another stream. Glad people showed out for it. We love, speaking for both of us, we love doing this. Every time we get on here is like, I just look forward to it all day when it's time to podcast. Just to get to you guys, give you our advice, feedback. That's what we do. That's why we write. That's why we podcast. We're doing it all for you guys out there. So thank you for the support. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Leo, for the platform that you give us. We're here to get better every day for you guys. Help grow your brands. Just blessed for the opportunity, and I'm glad that we have a platform to do what we do.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. And everybody that came in to hang out today, asked us some questions. Ted came in and talked QBs with us. A lot of people asked some questions. We appreciate it. You're the reason we do this. Thank you guys for the platform. And on that note, guys, we are